Welcome back, gamers, to another episode of the Federation. This is Gadriel here, and today we're on a 2v2 on the battlement of Burdigala. We have ourselves Bactria and Seleucid, two factions that opposingly hate each other, or supposedly hate each other, teaming up against Arverni and Suebi, the two barbarian factions, Arverni being the French and Suebi being the Germans. And back here where I moved my artillery in the back because Bactria's artillery was pretty much covered. I wasn't going to get a good shot on it, so I decided to use it against the movable onager in the background of Suebi. The Suebi Seleucid, correction. Sorry about that. I'm not really feeling all too well. We have ourselves some Silver Swordsmen. Guys, with Seleucid, I don't recommend Silver Shields on attack. Silver Shields are more designed for chokehold points, like holding points. They're not really designed for offensive capabilities, where you get more offensive capabilities from Royal Peltists, because you got the javelins. Their melee attack is insane. They actually, you get a lot more from them. You brought regular pikemen on attack. I actually like how you just brought the regular pikemen instead of the silver shields. You didn't waste too much money, but honestly, pikemen on attack, unless you know what you're doing and you're a very, very seasoned player, you're not gonna get your kills with them. You got to be aggressive with them. So army comps, pretty much, I brought 6 Celts, 1 Levy Freeman, 7 Chosen, and 1 Oathsworn General, and 4 Gallics. This is on large funds, so you're not gonna have like the mass that you're usually seeing. So we brought a crap ton of Bloodsworn. Does he have any club levy? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 Bloodsworn, 2 Swordmasters, and 4 Kimbries, it looks like. I could have counted wrong. Bactria, from what I can see, brought 6 Thorax Swords, 2 Hillmen, 3 Hillmen, and an fixed artillery position. Seleucid over here brought, from what I can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 Thorax Swords, 2 Pikemen, 1 Greek heavy onager, which is very expensive to bring. It's really not, I wouldn't recommend it. I'd just bring the fixed on large funds, because I think this thing's like 1,600 denarii. It's ridiculous how much it is. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Thorax Swords, my correction. We got 4 Syrian archers and a shield bearer general. Oh, 5 Thorax Swords and a silver shield swordsman. Okay. Now, the one thing that everyone that we've faced always has a problem with is battlefield awareness. And what I mean by battlefield awareness is you need to make sure wherever you're putting your archers or wherever you're moving on the battlefield that something is protected. As you can see over here, you got a Bloodsworn running out and going straight into some archers. That's something you don't want to do. You don't want to leave your archers just standing still. Also, another thing is, don't waste your ammo on towers. March a unit up and they can throw torches and it doesn't count as ammunition at a tower. So all you had to do is move this Thorax Swordsman up close to the wall and right click the tower and they would have thrown torches at it to burn it. It takes a little bit longer, but you wouldn't be wasting ammo. So Bactria is a seasoned player. He's noticing that his teammate probably is going to have a hard time attacking the back against Suebi. so he's kind of delaying his attack to see what happens. Um, he's brought 2 Persian light archers. He does have 2 Syrians in the woods somewhere over here. I remember that. He does have pikemen. 1 pikeman, 1, 2. I want to say he had 3 thorough spears, but I could be wrong. He did bring some citizen cav just for a sally out. He has 2 of them. He's using his Persian lights at the beginning, which is really smart because you don't want to use your heavy archers yet, because just in case you have to get into a archer fight, especially against Gallic hunters, the Assyrians are going to be better off fighting them because they can take more damage than the Gallics can. Gallics have no armor, but they do have abilities like stalk, if I remember right. Let's see. Yeah, they have stalk. What stalk is, this unit can move hidden in any terrain, which means he can move around and you won't be able to see him, and snipe. Now, the little trick with the Gallic hunters on this map is if they're up here and he moves his archers within range, I can target their archers, shoot 1 volley, and then stop, and they're going to vanish. And when they vanish, the enemy archers won't be able to retaliate. They won't be able to shoot back. Now, I set up here just in case, because I've noticed that Bactria was doing a delayed attack, and I knew for sure that I wasn't going to be able to keep fighting him on the outside because of his archer angles. He's a very experienced player. He knows what he's doing. He's trying to get me in my flanks constantly. So what I did is I decided to fight him on my own terms, which I took away his flank by being able to hold him back here. But my objective is to delay him as a feint retreat, delay him so that way I can have my ally defeat Seleucid fast before Bactria actually fully engages on my lines. Is looking at Seleucid's army. It is, again, there's not a lot of infantry. He went a little bit heavy. I wouldn't have brought in the silver shields. I would have brought more thorax swords, because for 1 silver shield you pretty much can bring 2 thorax if you had the funds corrected. So you could have had 320 more men of second tier infantry instead of just 160 of third tier. Third tier is great to have and all, but you have to, your infantry at the end of the day is what wins you the battle. I want to say, is that a silver shield? It is. So he actually had 2 silver shields. So he decided to spend his money when he could have brought 3 or 4 more thorax, decided to bring 2 silver shields. Which, silver shields are awesome. They have the drip. They're just pretty cool all in all. I love the silver shield swordsmen. They're cool looking. They're pretty tanky. They get the job done. But they're not worth the money. I think they cost a little bit too much than what they should be worth. They should be about 1,100 to 1,000 denarii. I think they're sitting at 1,280. Yeah, and they get the ability crack the whip, which, let me read you off what crack the whip does. Use the whip, my bad. Improved attack and fatigue resistance for a short time. Melee attack, weapon damage, and fatigue resistance goes up. Exertion, fatigue goes down. Which means once use the whip is done, say if you have an exhausted silver shield swordsman, you can use crack the whip or use the whip, and it will make them back to fresh. But after the ability is done, because the ability only lasts for about 20 seconds, 10 to 20 seconds, they go back down to being fatigued, which means they'll be exhausted. So if they were winded and you use the whip, they'd go back up to fresh, but once you use the whip is done, they would probably be exhausted. It would hurt their fatigue, and fatigue in this battle literally is a driving factor of how good your men fight. because tired soldiers do not fight nowhere near as well as fresh soldiers do. Like Oathsworn. Now, anyone who played this game will tell you Oathsworn are literally the bread and butter. They are the unit. If you're gonna bring high tier, you bring Oathsworn. If you're barbarians, because they have shield wall, battle. Oh no, that's the general ability. They have headhunt. They have encourage. This unit provides a morale bonus to nearby allies. They can hide in forests, which most people, all units I believe, can have hide. Headhunt, though, is my favorite ability. Gradually increase effectiveness of the unit's attack. Now, what it does is when it goes into effect, it gives your guys more melee attack and morale, which means that's something you want to pop. Like, a lot of experienced people will hit it while they're charging the enemy. Where did he go? Alright, so a lot of experienced people will hit it when they're charging the enemy because they'll get the melee attack bonus on top of the charge bonus, because Oathsworn have a 35 charge bonus, as you can see in the bottom left hand side of the screen. And that melee attack goes up. Now, I've said it in multiple videos, and I don't know if you're a newer viewer. If you're a newer viewer, melee attack and weapon damage. Melee attack is think of it as your percentage out of 100 how they're going to hit. So how many times they're going to hit. So let's just look at Oathsworn being 48% of the time they're actually hitting their target. And when they hit, they do 45 damage. Now, that 45 damage is decreased based on the armor values of the enemy. So having a 45 weapon damage, that is literally one of the highest melee attacks, weapon damage, my bad, not melee attack, but weapon damage there is in the game. I believe the only thing that beats them, there's two units that beat them when it comes to weapon damage, and that is the Thracian Nobles and I want to say the Armored Shotels. I believe they have a 50 weapon damage. I think they're tied with the Galatian Legionnaires. Royal Guard, my bad, not Legionnaires. But the Galatian Royal Guard, God, I keep messing that up. The Galatian Royal Guard from Egypt is better than the Oathsworn, but they cost a little bit more, but they're worth the extra. As we're out here still chasing them down with some Bloodsworn, you guys have to have battle awareness. That is one of the biggest things. Most people, when they're playing this game, they aren't just looking at the front lines. They're scanning the battlefield, making sure they're not getting flanked, making sure that there's different avenues of approach. I had no chance at fighting Bactria on this front line because of all the angles he chose. He chose this corner to breach because it opened up this side flank and opened up this side flank to kill off my Celts, as you saw at the very beginning. Now, so what I did is I did a feint retreat to the second tier hold. Now, there is a thing called VP camping, and it's looked down upon. Now, what a lot of people and newer players you'll see do is they'll hold the VP. They'll bring their whole army back and just hold this one area. On Burdigala, it is a 3-tier settlement. You have your first tier, which is the walls, your second tier, which is where I'm holding right here, and then you have your third tier. I always fall back to the second tier because it's, in my opinion, one of the easiest positions to hold, especially if you're outnumbered. If you are outnumbered, you don't want to take an army on head on. No matter how good you think your men are, if they're fighting a 2-to-1 battle, you don't want to fight them head on. As you can see, Suebi's just cleaning up pikemen right now. Artillery's coming in. How many kills does he have? He has 8. See, that's why I don't think on large funds these heavy onagers are worth the buy. They're cool to have, don't get me wrong. They're one of the coolest units in the game. But they cost way too much. Is he Bactria and Royal Cavalry? Yeah, he is. So what Bactria is doing right now is he's doing a professional move where he's probing my defenses. He's trying to see where I'm paying attention to, what's going on. He knows I have this area on lockdown. I pushed off his archers right here. He's moving his archers around, trying to see if he can get some cheeky kills. He's probably going to move them to this little pocket and shoot side shots into these guys right here, because that is sword side shot. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's trying to get cheap kills before he engages with his army. But he's also on a time limit because he has to be able to engage me or destroy me before my teammate is done finishing off Seleucid. But at this point in the battle, his teammate being so badly beaten where he's at right now, it's going to turn into a 2v1. And when that 2v1 starts, so he maybe moved his swordmasters over to guard the beach so he doesn't get flanked by the cavalry from Bactria. I let him know that yes, Bactria had cavalry, they were inside settlement, and he needed to set up something back there to make sure he didn't get flanked. We have now the engagement on the front line. I'm going to break his charge with some Celts. The reason why I set up the way I did is I can move two of these archers around to this side over here where the VP is, so they can shoot side shots into the line crashing here, and I can have two archers over here shoot into the backs of the line crashing into here. It's called a kill box. He's falling back because he thinks it's a Javi trap, which yes, it's a Javi trap. He'd take Javies from both sides as he charged in, but he is pulling off because he's trying to figure out a way to crash into this without having an issue. He knows I have 4 archers. He knows I have the ammo. What really sucks for Bactria right now is that his teammate didn't attack with him. And his teammate didn't bring enough infantry. His teammate brought specials, which I get it, but on a 2v2 you want to be able to bring infantry. You don't want to just bring specials, high tier units. You want to bring infantry, your thorax swords. That is the infantry you want to bring. Like, he brought pikes, he brought the onager, he brought silver shield swordsmen on large funds, which really cut away his front line. If you notice Bactria being actually professional he brought thorax swords, medium tier infantry. He brought Theraeus spears so he can push off archers if he gets in range. He brought a pikeman. I don't know why he brought one pikeman. I wouldn't have brought any of them. I probably would have brought a thorax sword in its place, because chances are you're going to get more kills with that thorax sword. And he's trying to, he's getting no kills right there, never mind. He's trying to get cheeky kills. The problem with this shot right here is he's shooting shield side shot. Now, shield side shot in the game is very, very important to not shoot, because you're literally, the armor of the infantry is based off the armor they're wearing and the shield they have. So let's take a look at the chosen swords, and let's take a look at their armor. They have a 35 shield bonus, which means they have a 75% armor. You're literally shooting at the heaviest side of that unit. That's where their side's protected the most. Now, on sword side shot, they only have a 40 base armor, which means you're going to get more kills on sword side shots than you would on shield side shot. So Suebi cleaned up Seleucid outside. He is pike stacking over here, but it really doesn't matter. That pike is about to die anyways. Now Suebi is going to move some of his archers over here to help with me. I could easily take Bactria. Like, if he pushed, I could win this fight. The thing is, if I were to push out, there's a chance that I would have lost it. So that's why I'm only really probing his defenses, and I'm trying to slow him down until I get a solid guarantee that I can win if I push out. And that guarantee is once Suebi's done with Seleucid, he's going to come over here with his archers, what's left of his blood sword, and he's going to help me push. And that right there is the guarantee I needed. Now, what's really pushing him now is he knows that. So now he's going to try to push me, and he's going to engage. He's going to try his hardest to do as much damage to me as possible. But he ended up falling for the trap, which he was kind of forced to do. Notice how I did not charge back. I just left my guys standing the way they were, because it gives me perfect angle fire and sword side shot on this thorax swords to get that many kills in one volley. We got cavalry coming through. Now, there's a reason why I stack my lines the way I do. That means that cavalry has to push through 1, 2, 3, 4 lines of heavy melee infantry just to get to my archers. And the problem with that is his cavalry is not shot cav, which means it's not designed to pierce. It's not designed to crash in and crash through the unit. And also, it will slow them down for a javi toss that you just saw. Now, some people be like, why would you waste your javelins on melee cav when you could easily just hold them and kill them? Simple thing is the faster I get cav off the field, the faster they're off the field, the less flanking capabilities my opponent has.
Victory for gold!
There's an archer fight going on between Gaulics and Persian Lights. Persian Lights are going to end up losing that fight. The problem with Bactria right now is he has his whole army at the breach. The rest of his army at the breach, so he literally did not have anything supporting at the front. So he also brought 3 cavalry, so he kind of brought specials himself. But the way he used his infantry, the way he used his men, he actually was able to. The army that Seleucid brought and the skill base of Seleucid, you could tell, wasn't the greatest. He was probably a newer player. He brought an experienced army, something that you'd actually need to micro constantly to use as a newer player. So I recommend to newer players playing this game, keep it simple. It's the thing we had a thing in the military that we'd always say is keep it simple, stupid. And it's not to insult people. It's not to belittle people. It was literally to explain to people that the best case scenario is a simple build or a simple decision. And that goes for this game. That's one of the lines that I strongly enforce in this game all the time, is the simpler the army, the better chance you're going to have at winning. Like, my army was literally Celts, Chosen Swordsmen, Oathsworn, and Gallic Hunters. And 1 Levy Freeman because I had the funds to bring him. The Levy Freeman, I could give or take. You don't really need him. I just brought him for taking archer fire, which he did. Didn't really care what happened to him. Now, at this point, I saw a chance. Now, the chance was not really to get to his archers, but to push them off to get them away from mine, because the Syrians are still pretty dangerous against my Gallic hunters. As you can see, they did quite a number on this guy. He's down to 49 men remaining, 117 on here, 119, 112 there. Like, they did numbers. And now we have Suebi shooting his archers into the side of this Dorea spear. Bactria is pretty much done now. You see how fast he collapsed once my teammate was able to come over here. He delayed a little bit too long. Now, his initial attack was genius. Really well. Well played. Really good. He only lost Hillman. Very, very well designed. Literally, I hope you're watching this. You did good at this battle. The problem is your teammate died too quickly, and you didn't have a chance as you were fighting 2v1, and you were in a timed situation. But you as a player, outstanding. Fucking outstanding. Great job. You knew what you were doing. And I guarantee if you had a partner that probably was a little bit more experienced, you would have given us more of a run for our money. Now, be careful on jabbing the backs of your own units. Because I guarantee you that breaking was mostly caused by your javelins towards the end. And I get you're trying to get as many kills now as possible, but I see this unit's open. Oh, here comes a Javi. But other than that, you did really well. Seleucid, don't attack by yourself if you're a newer player. If I were you, I would have attacked with my teammate. You don't want to split up. But yeah, I guarantee, yeah, if you split up, you're going to be versing a 1v1 most of the time. But if you're newer, you don't know most of the mechanics of the game, you want your teammate there to help you and back you up. Instead of attacking multiple points, your teammate could have taken half the load and you took the other half. Combined, I'm pretty sure Bactria would have pulled you through and got you closer do a little bit better with your heavy infantry. He probably would have had you hold it until he broke through the front lines. Alright, I'm going to lose this Gallic hunter here. See, those Syrian archers are still pretty dangerous, dude. That's why you keep them to last. You don't want to throw away your heavy archers at the very beginning.
Stop! Get running! Move it! Get running!
And it looks like that's the end of the battle. He's sending in his last thoracic swords. Now, over time, you'll end up killing a lot more of the Syrians because they've already been taking trickle damage from archer fire. The battle's over. Morale's being shattered right now with army losses. Now, what most people do, what some scummy people do in this game, is they have a cav gen and they've lost. Instead of, charging the enemy, dying with humility, they will run away. Now, Bactria doesn't do that. I just wanted to state that as in this fact that you do have people that do that. Will run away and run the whole game out to the whole hour is done. Or get you to quit because they don't want to lose. And it's just scummy. Like, they've lost the fight. But he doesn't. He actually charges. He chooses what to charge, which honestly choosing the Bloodstorm was the smartest idea. You're gonna get kills. The only problem though is the archers. Bactria and Royal Cav is really good. Honestly, you probably could have used him to cycle down the lines. Yeah, you're putting your general in danger, but he just lost a lot of men. There's a thorax swordsman here that I'm charging the backs of. And that's it. Let's take a look at the kill count. Alright. We have myself with 1751 kills, 1604 losses. My Celts did okay. They weren't the greatest. 106, 138. Chosen 231, 112, 182. I still had 5 chosen left. My Oathsworn general hasn't even seen combat. My archers 105, 131, 151, 114. Not bad. Let's go down to Mr. Thunder with 2,029 kills and 55 losses. He had his Swordmasters, they only saw combat against the cavalry assistant cav, and they cleaned it up pretty well. His Bloodsworn, 122, 152, 120, 110, 100, 190, 217, 138, 136, 199. Not bad at all. Archers, 107, and the others still had a lot of ammo left. Bactria with 1591 kills and 2,113 losses. Hillman, 61, 58, not bad for Hillman. Pike, didn't even see combat, ran away. Archers, 186 on Persian Lights, 105, 139, really good job. Thorax Swords, 145, 169, 116, 136, really good job. As you can see, like, he brought a 20-man army, and Silicon brought a 14-man army. And you can see, yeah, he got the kill. He got a decent amount of kills, but he was also fighting Bloodsworn, which have no armor. 1438 kills with 1905 losses. His Silver Shields, 2 of them, 164, 194, did pretty decently, but their Silver Shields on large funds are going to get the kills. Archers, 108. That's really the only one that did well. The Onager, 45 kills. Yeah, it was a waste of money. Shield Bearer General, 145. Thorax Swords, 106, 195. You could have got rid of the Onager, got rid of these Silver Shields, brought probably about 5 more Thorax Swords, and you probably would have done a lot better than you did. But I'll give you props for trying an elite build or a special build, but it didn't pay off. As I said earlier in the video, keep it simple. Thorax Swords. Honestly, on large funds, you don't even need the Syrians. I would have brought the Persian Lights. They got 150 range. They're still archers. They're still going to get the job done. And that gives you more money. And the pikemen, get rid of them. Bring Thorax Swords, some Eastern Spearmen to move your towers at the very beginning, to burn towers, to take out the artillery positions, and then move your Thorax in. Bring a fixed artillery position. If you want artillery, bring the fixed, especially on large funds, because you're not going to really use it other than making a breach. And if you make a breach, you're going to have less casualties jumping off of a tower. Breaches are safer for men, and you'll sustain less casualties trying to take a breach than jumping off a tower and getting trapped on the walls. especially on a barbarian settlement. But barbarian settlements, the reason why we play most of them, mostly on barbarian settlements, is it's actually fair for the attackers and the defenders. There's no, once they're on the wall, it's open ground. There's no getting on the wall, having to get off the wall, and getting shot while on the wall. It's literally they're on the same level as your archers, everything else. You just run off the walls and get you. City fights, I don't like how it's only a 20% fund decrease for defenders on walled settlements. I think it should be a little bit more to make it fair, because those walls, if you hold an army up on the walls, you can kill a whole army with just using 3 units. That's a whole 20-man army that you can just slaughter if you have archers, range, and just infantry. Like 3 infantry units can hold it, and you just slaughter them all. It's pretty disgusting. I've done it before. I know Mr. Thunder's done it before. Blackfoot's done it before. It's, in my opinion, I think walled settlements should have a more penalizing for the defenders, because having the walls and the towers is just ridiculous. Other than that, I hope you guys had a great day. Hopefully you enjoyed watching. Hopefully you learned something new today. I'll see you next time on another episode of Yeet Federation. Be safe.